With so much content out there, how do you filter through all the noise and cut straight to the value? What has become very apparent is that the best way to learn is to surround yourself with those you aspire to be. But you can't just watch what they do. At some point you have to turn it into an action. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. On this podcast, you will go on a journey as we speak to people who are making a difference in their industries, and people who, if you listen to closely and take action, can turn you into who you want to be. My name is Mark Sclair, and this is the Building a Successful Career podcast. Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's show. I have a very special guest with us, someone that I've known since I was 11 years old. He lives over in Thailand at the moment, but we still keep in contact, and he's always somebody that's willing to give up their time to help me with what I'm trying to do at the moment. So I have my friend Michael Kenner. Do you want to say hello, Michael?
Hey, hi everyone.
Hi everyone. He is the CEO of a venture capital group, but also founder of many other businesses. And what I think is amazing is how he's able to run all of these businesses, still keep sane with it, and structure them in a way where they are actually being very successful during this downtime at the moment. So I just want to, before we get into this is a little theme that I want to get going with every podcast that I do with people that I personally know as well. I think it's really good for me to kind of give what I feel from the outside, like this journey that you've been on. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a moment to do that. Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah. So Michael, for me, is one of the smartest people that I know. When he was younger, that was definitely the case in school. And I feel that when he realized that he was so smart, that you can't really be smart and cool at the same time. You can't really be smart and cool at the same time. So there was the cool gang, and neither of us were in this cool gang. Yeah, and Michael and I wanted to be in this thing. And I'm not saying I was the smartest as well, but I'm just saying, like, we both wanted to be in this cool gang. And unfortunately, like, I feel that Michael had to dumb down a little bit for that to happen. So for him to kind of relate to other people. And then what happens with that is, with so many people, that kind of thing sticks. That kind of like who you are or who you're trying to be, it kind of sticks with you. And that definitely isn't what Michael's like. And unfortunately, that stuck a little bit. And I think the people around him, a lot of the people around him, not me, because I've always seen what Michael is, they'd associate him with being this type of person, which he wasn't. So for him to break away from that and to really become this huge dreamer, which is what he is, and you'll hear this, like the amazing journey that he's been on, he's done such amazing things. You can't be around those types of people, or you have to distance yourself. And it took moving to another country for that to actually happen. And that's how I see it. And now he's grown and he's excelled. And I'm not saying he doesn't care what other people think, because I think we all do care. But I think he's on this amazing journey where he's able to just do things and go with it without worrying what other people are prying on with him, because he's away from it all. And I think that's a great thing that he's doing. Am I wrong what I'm saying there, or please?
No, I mean, I totally agree. I think that for anyone out there that feels that they've been pigeonholed into someone who you're not, you can really reinvent yourself. You know, if you decide that you're not this person and you don't want to be this person, that people recognize you as that person. And I think part of it is that, especially when you grow up with people, that you mature into a different person. We're not the same people we were at 10, and we're not the same people we were at 20. And I'm not the same person I was at 30.
No.
So, you know, the stigma associated with you, that you're this person, you're this kind of child that you kind of grew up with your friends and you messed around with, and then you want to be taken seriously. You can reinvent yourself, and it's important too, but don't let anyone hold you back and they want to pigeonhole you as this person. You be the person you want to be. And that's my first-hand experience, and I can talk about it later, in terms of how I did that.
No, I think it's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. So I haven't really explained yet, but you have this company, you have this business. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that, like the business at the moment that you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of run DBV, which is called Digital Broker Ventures. It's kind of like a more venture capital business, but instead of investing capital, we invest resources into businesses. So we've got a load of different companies that we run and control. One of the most prominent ones is the Fazwaz Group, which is probably the fastest growing prop tech company in Southeast Asia, and it's been tagged as kind of the Amazon of real estate moving forward globally, which is a really exciting business. But besides this, we've got newspaper platforms. We own one of the largest online media companies in Thailand with around 20 million monthly users. So it's quite a big platform. We've got one of the fastest growing meditech platforms, well, I think in Southeast Asia and globally. And there's a few other assets are smaller and some actually larger, which we don't put as much focus into. But we're basically trying to build the biggest internet platform in Southeast Asia across multiple asset classes. So it's a big project. It's a big dream.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, before we get into this more, I'm going to go through it. There's something that really sticks out from me when we were younger, which really kind of drove home the idea that you were meant for more than just a little bubble, and also that your mind definitely works differently to most other people. So I think it was amazing when you set up this poker chip business. Yeah. And I think it was brilliant. And I think the story which was there as well, and especially like the Belgian part as well, I really want you to kind of speak about that. Can you go into that? Because I think it's brilliant.
Sure. I mean, look, behind every success there's 100 failures. That's, and I've failed a lot. And I've had some great times failing. That's part of it. Some of my best times I've ever had in my life at the previous part of a massive failure.
Yeah.
And a very good friend of ours, we decided at one point in time that when poker was happening and the boom happening, he went to Harrods and saw a poker set for $100. And we found out that we could probably get it from China for a lot cheaper. No, we didn't know what he was doing. We went to Skype and we found a Chinese distribution in Shenzhen, which is kind of an industrial port in China, which is now a lot bigger than it was previously. We asked, how much we get to ship poker sets over, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to bring them over a £100 product for $10 landed in the UK. We didn't know what he was doing. He was 18 at the time. I was at university. He was in London. He was a real estate agent. And I was a student, drinking loads of alcohol and not really focusing on anything else.
Yeah.
But we decided to go ahead and customize the sets. And luckily, our friend, he has some contacts through his parents, and they got us into 888.com, which was the biggest online casino in the world. And I remember 18 years old, 19 years old, rocking up to their offices and pitching them this concept of poker sets and how we can put their brands all over the sets, et cetera, et cetera. And my business partner, who's also a good friend of mine, he's a yes man. If someone asks him something, he's been told from his previous experience that if you're looking for a 2-bed and you've got a 1-bed, just say, yes, it's a 2-bed, and try and sell them the 1-bed, right?
Yeah.
This is the mentality of some agents. But so when we went into the meeting, there was a lot of yeses to stuff that we basically couldn't do. So anyway, we managed to sign a massive deal with this company.
Sorry. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, sure. So we managed to sign a massive deal with this company, and we're at a very young age. So now we've got to get hold of, I think 50,000 poker sets and get them landed in the UK. So look, we worked out we could get the ships import the actual sets, which are really heavy, imported from Asia. But then we wanted some playing cards, so we needed 100,000 packs of playing cards. We're like, hey, where are we going to do this? Now, when we were younger, we used to play top trumps. The game was like 87 power, 97 power.
Yeah.
So I looked at the back of the cards. I was like, who makes this? I'm like, Lawrence. Sorry. So I've given away the name already. This is the company that made it. Let's get it done. So we called them up and we said, how much for 100,000 packs of cards? They're like, this is the amount. Do you want it delivered? I was like, how much is that? They're like, a few $1,000 extra. I was like, don't worry, we'll go and pick them up. So I said, hey, we're going to go to Belgium and pick them up. We're going to go past Amsterdam because I'm going to, this is going to be fun. We're going to smoke, yeah, and get stoned, and then go on to Belgium and pick up the set. So we went through really fun time in Amsterdam. And then we went to Belgium. I remember turning up at this big factory who makes truck trams. I can't remember the name. I think it was called Casso or something. And they're like, reverse your lorry into the loading bay. And I'm looking at my business partner, Lawrence, and it's like, I've got the Clio, the hatchback. And he's like, just say yes. I say, okay, we'll reverse the lorry. Yeah. So we both get in the car and we reverse this Renault Clio hatchback into a lorry loading bay. And they're looking at us like we're nuts. And then they start bringing up 100,000 packs of playing cards in boxes. And I'm like, Lawrence, what are we going to do here? And in the end, we ended up taking all the packs out individually and loading the car up with. Now, you couldn't see the pedals, you couldn't see the gear sticks, you couldn't see anything. Right. It was just up to our necks. And I'm driving the car, I think, a good 4 hours back to Calais to get the ferry across. And when we got to Calais, they were like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean what we're doing? We're bringing back these cards. They're like, we paid import duty. I was like, what's that? And this is the reality. We didn't know what any of this was. I was like, how much money you got on you, Lawrence? Like, about £50. I was like, how much do you want? It's like, they wanted thousands. Anyway, this was just the start of a crazy journey we went on. I think one of the funniest moments was when the actual poker sets arrived. We're talking about big poker sets, tens of thousands of them. I think I arrived at Felixstowe and I just called up Lawrence. It's like, yeah, just take it to my mum's house. So my mum calls me and says there's lorries all parked blocking the whole road. And they're trying to put like lorry loads of poker sets into. Anyway, none of this was all thought out. No. In the end, a great story ended up being a more funnier story, which ended up in a disaster. Yeah. But what we learned from it was absolutely incredible. And actually, the story of what happened, and I won't go through it all, there's loads of funny stories involved. Like us getting paid the deposit and going out to a nightclub and buying bottles of, I can't remember, what's that expensive champagne? Cristal. Yeah, multiple bottles with the money that wasn't ours, right? The experience and all the failures, when I went to get a landed job in investment banking, which I didn't come out of a Red Brick University and I didn't have a first class degree, the story was so strong and the experience was so strong and the lessons were so prominent that the entry to investment banking was funded by that story. So amazing. A disaster leading to one of the best opportunities of my life. So yeah, that's kind of like a rundown of the poker set company. Yeah. So you went to uni, which is kind of like the thing that everyone's against these days. You know, oh, I'm a school leaver. I dropped out of school. I'm now this multi-millionaire entrepreneur and I did it through hard work and graft. Do you regret going to university? It's an interesting one. I mean, in terms of what I learned, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really learn very much. I wasn't there to learn. I was there to avoid working. And that was my route, that I was too young to think about the rest of my life and career. So what did I learn? I would say very, very little. I actually don't, I did a business, an economics degree, and I don't remember much of the content, and it hasn't been useful in application. No. But the actual network of friends that I made, I'm not talking about hundreds of friends, I'm talking about the house I lived in, have actually become, they're not just my friends, they're my best friends, business partners, investors in my company. And the bonds and we formed are so valuable. In fact, the house I lived with, which was 4 people, I live in Thailand, one lives in New York, one lives in Australia, one lives in Singapore, and the last one, so there's 5, and one lives in the UK still. So from all of it, from the kind of, the relationships you build at university are key. Yeah. The stuff you learn is an old syllabus, an old curriculum that's massively outdated. So learning how to become an adult is important. Learning to build friendships beyond the ones we grew up at school and we're all hitting each other like stupid kids. Yeah. Evolving these friendships onto new people and extending your social circles is also key. So the takeaways is that the people I met at university, and they know who they are some of the people who I cherish mostly in my life and who I will, that is massively important. I learned how to build them kind of relationships. So yeah, that's the takeaway to university. It's not there to do a generic degree. It doesn't help you, right?
No.
Even if you think it's an entry point to bigger companies, it's an entry point to a bigger company where you might be a slave for the rest of your life, right? That's probably a difficult concept. For doctors or something, a very strict profession, yeah, you need to educate and learn that trade. But people going and doing arts and craft degrees just because, you know,
or media
is an absolute waste. It's a waste of time. Yeah, exactly. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pinch of salt for anyone out there doing degrees and believes that this is really going to better them.
It's quite interesting though. Like all of those people that you lived with, none of them live in the UK now. Like they've all moved away.
So the craziest thing about this is that we were not the most academic group. We was a naughty group of kids in university. You know, with basically smoking loads of weed, making trouble. Yeah, that's what we used to like doing, and it wasn't very social. But out that inside our university now, this is the reality. The academics there, the ones who worked hard and studied, we're probably, in terms of where we've gone, we're probably the most successful group that came out of our year group in that university.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, is there a direct correlation between studying hard and achieving in your career? I don't actually know if there is anymore, because the people that went through the studying hard and did all the university and turned up, we didn't bother going to university.
No.
But what we learned is about how to interact with people. Yeah,
personable skills. Personable skills.
So the core skills we took away was good. Yeah. So I mean, mate, that's just a correlation in my set of university habits. I mean, I think, listen, if you went to an amazing university like, I don't know, like Harvard, or which we didn't, we went to a second-rate university, then I'm sure, you know, studying hard, learning some amazing content from some amazing people. But I really believe that the people teaching you cannot just be, you know, oh, I've driven around taxis and now I've learned how to study and lecture. And I want to be taught business by someone who has done this. I want to be taught science by someone who's done this, not IT by someone who's never done IT as a profession. Okay, and I think that's part of the generic problem with the whole system. But everyone knows the same stuff. And I think if you were at university, really ask yourself, who am I learning from? Because if you want to learn about boxing, you want to learn from someone like Mike Tyson, not me. Yeah? I don't want to read a book and teach you boxing. You want to learn from a boxer. So the same applies to everything. So this is just my viewpoint, and it's not universally correct. It's just, if anyone who I can speak to, this is my views I portray.
Nice. So let's skip forward a little bit and let's go to a job that you had in the UK working at Barclays Bank, which most people would settle with for the rest of their lives and be very, very, very happy. I mean, at a young age, you're earning up to 6 figures in pounds, absolutely amazing. And you decided that you wanted more. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so I mean, when I came out of university, I didn't have a job. I actually played Call of Duty for about a year with some friends, like, generally, right?
Yeah.
This is the reality. I'm not going to lie and tell the story. It didn't happen. And I somehow landed a job at Credit Suisse in a graduate scheme. And, you know, for me, who got thrown out of school and, you know, and when I was younger and, you know, rebelled, this was the dream job. My mum cried. In fact, she never thought I would ever get a job like this. My family being so proud, it was such a warm feeling. And I honestly thought that this was it. So I joined, and then I actually got graduate of the year, you know, and there was a lot of smart people, but I wasn't academically smart to their degree, but I was people smart, and I learned to communicate. And I actually took graduate of the year that year, and I thought this was it. And I was really bought into the company. These big banks know how to get you bought in. You know, it was in investment banking. I was on the kind of technology side, looking at trading, and, you know, people dreamed of these jobs, and they're paying us really, really good money. But then I realized that the people who I aspired to be like were not in these banks. They were not my managers, and they were not the managers' managers. And someone would say, where do you want to be? And I would be like, I want to be the CEO of this bank. And they would just like laugh at me. Like in my head, I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
But I was knocked down so much by these people because my aspirations are so higher than theirs that it makes, they're like, it makes them feel insecure, and they'll just like laugh you off into the thing. So I remember I thought this was all about money. So Barclays, which was a Credit Suisse competitor next door, went and offered me 50% pay rise. Yeah,
Okay.
just to move, 50% more on your salary. Yeah, and a much bigger bonus. And I was like, and the title. Title was important for me at that time. We're going to give you the vice president, even though it doesn't mean you're the vice president.
No.
You're actually with 10,000 vice. So the whole thing is a bit of a joke. And I went and I realized within 3 months that the money, getting 50% more, didn't matter. And I'm still not meeting my aspirations. And once you have that itch, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If you've got that itch and you look around and think, I want to be more, and you look around at people who think, I want more, and then you look around and everyone's like Thunderbirds with the whole tapping their machines and time slows down and you're on the verge of having a panic attack thinking, is this for the rest of my life? I decided at that point, I deliberated. My biggest regret is I deliberated for about 18 months longer than I should have.
Okay.
Once you've got the itch, you've got to change because it will eat at you and eat at you, and you'll never be happy as soon as you
back those 18 months though. What do you think that was?
So there's a multitude of things. So people were like, okay, to make £100,000 was a big deal, especially in where my community of friends that I had was like, you're going to leave. It was like you would lie if you said you was making this and you would leave. It's like, why would you leave that? I was like, number one, it's not that much money. And I'm not putting this out to make people who make less feel less.
No. I get it.
And number two, I wasn't happy. Yeah. I wanted to be more. I looked at these people, like, I actually watched a video of Steve Jobs, and this was the biggest video that changed my life. And I know in your previous chat with James, you spoke about books.
Yeah.
This is one video, which was a Stanford address by Steve Jobs. And it talks about, if you look in the mirror, I think, am I happy with what I'm about to do in the morning? And this is not, and you get a negative answer a few times and you're doing the wrong thing. And the reality is I woke up and I said, is this what I want to do if this is my last day on the planet? I'm like, no. I don't even like these people. I don't like the job. Yeah. I want to do more. And people don't like this in terms of, if you give that kind of, that kind of persona, people don't like this. But what I realize is that you've got to get beyond what people think. Yeah. Focus on what's important to you and what you think. And if you do what's right for you, you will have zero regrets. But if you do what other people think you should be doing, you will have lots of regrets throughout your life. So that was kind of the reason why I left. And I think within that generic last feeling, I decided to hand in my resignation with no plan of what I was going to do. So.
So we're getting to that. But what sticks out there, what you said, like your mum was so proud. And I think, that is something that really like people want to do, but it's not really what made you happy. So as much as you want to make your mum happy, like, she doesn't, or my parents don't realize that there's this whole other level than just working at a bank or being a lawyer or being a doctor. There's this whole other level, this tech side, which you got into, which they don't know about, which has been the best thing that's ever happened to you. And I'm sure that your mum is as proud or as happy as ever with what you've done.
Sure. I mean, it takes time for them to actually realize, because obviously now I'm in Thailand and we'll get to that in a minute, but what was I doing here? But I actually went, and this is not a lie, this is generically what I said. People said, what are you doing? I said, I want people to walk past someone and say, hey, I work for Michael Kenner, he's a great guy, you should come work for him. Or his company. Yeah. That was it. It wasn't that much money orientated, because at that time I had a business in the UK that made a lot more money than my salary. By a long way, with a lot less work and with friends, and was fun to do. So I knew that even I was making good money, that actually money is relatively easy to come by if you know how to do it. And you can enjoy the process of making money much more than going to a big bank and just doing someone else's vision. And it's not even someone else's vision, it's a big entity. It's a whole messed up mixed vision where wastage happens, and it's all about relationships and friendships at the top, and it's very hard to kind of progress, even though they give out this vibe. So I wanted to be in charge of my destiny. That was basically it. I didn't want someone to be in control of where my life was going to go, in terms of my career specifically, and also many other multitudes of my life.
you've never been one to care about money at all. I know that from you. You probably give away your last pound as well to help a friend. So I completely know that. So that's what's great about you. I've been thinking about this a lot actually, and before we came on with this, like money, what does it do? What's it allowed you to do? And it's allowed you to play the game. Yeah, and it's allowed you to move faster and to go vertical, which is where you want to go. So I think that's what's allowed you to do. Like you don't look at your bank balance. You look like, what can I do with this now to grow the business and to get as big as possible?
So 100%. And the weird thing is so, you know, we grew up in a relatively, I'll say, not a very affluent community, but there were some wealthy-ish people. And we got taught that possessions really mattered.
Yeah.
Now, on my journey, I've met these people, and I've also now met people who are affluent, as in who've had public companies, who've probably who've hit the pinnacle of success in relation to businesses and financial wealth, unless you're comparing it to like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. So not that level, but the next level down.
Yeah, yeah. And
you realise these people don't talk about these material things or cars or watches or what clothes or you're wearing Prada shoes or I want a yacht. Because I asked someone and who's actually a friend of mine who actually exited one of the companies, one of our competitors, hey, what's the difference between 1 million, 10 million, 100 million? Because he was at this level. And he said, just bragging rights, to be honest. Yeah. We can all eat the same places. We can all go on the same flights. Yeah. We can all do the same hotels. So it changed my mindset. And one of the biggest mindsets I had is when I was growing up, I had some friends around me that had pools and I had, you know, a very modest lifestyle. You know, my parents aren't wealthy. And I always thought one day I want to have a house with a pool that will make me happy.
Yeah.
And some people think that this is the ultimate game, you know, having a big house with a pool. Now, Thailand was a fast track for this. So now I moved in and within the first week of living here, I'm getting a house with a pool. And do you know how long I was happy for? About a day. Jumping in the pool and then bang. People wait the whole life for this, only to realise at the end, if they ever get there, that what a terrible ambition that one is. If your goal is to have a big house or to make a lot of money, you really need to look within and realise that if you ever get there, which I hope to God you'll do, you will realise what stupid goal you set for yourself, right? So
it means nothing.
I've realised finances and how much money you have in your pocket, and obviously it's nice to have money, but it's also more, you know, you have more problems and don't make that your ambition in life at all. If your ambition is to make millions of dollars, you've got the wrong ambition. And I found that the community that I grew up,
so many people that's all they want. That is all they want. Like they just don't see it. Like what is happiness? What is success? Like is success never seeing your kids or your family, or you know, never being around, see your kids grow up? Is that success when you got money in the bank? I don't think so.
No. And I say to some people who are married with kids, and they say to me that you're successful, I was like, I wish I had your type of success.
Yeah, exactly.
There's all different types of success, right? Depending on what's important to you. So I would love to have your type of success, where you have a healthy family, good friends around you. You know, I wish I could give my successes, which is an amazing family, amazing friends.
Yeah.
You know, I wake up and I can be happy.
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with how much money I have in my bank account. So I wish that success for everyone, because that's the one that matters, right? So yeah, it definitely gave me perspective on terms of, you know, money and everything else. And, you know, I'm very modest. You know, I tell you, we spoke about this. I'm wearing a Primark t-shirt, £2, I bought 2 years ago. Yeah. But depending on where you went to, if I went home, people would be like, "You've seen what he's dressed in? He can't be successful."
No.
But based on what? So, so you are what you eat. You are who you hang around with. And the communities you establish yourself in. So what I've learned is that success is much more deep-rooted to me than just how much money we have or how big my mortgage is in my house, or I have 4 Rolexes in my room. Do you want to come and see them? Right? Which I've had conversations with friends who've done this to me. And I'm like, I mean, you've got a long way to go if you're on that kind of path.
A funny story was this guy I used to know that worked here originally in Dubai. He came here and he had But we make loads of money straight away. And in the end, he ended up sleeping on his friend's couch because he literally couldn't pay the rent, him and his girlfriend. And then he's working in a real estate company. And this is one of the like offices where people can walk in, yeah, which doesn't happen much now, like a high street office. And this guy walked in and he was in rags, yeah, like a Casio watch. They said, go on, mate, you go and speak to that guy. Yeah. Started speaking to him. He bought a property. His cousin bought a property. They flipped it. He sold floors, buildings. This guy became a millionaire, a sterling pound millionaire, just from this one client. And he walked in with rags on. Yeah. Like, yeah. And I think that's never judged a book by its cover.
Exactly. Never judge a book by its cover. Yeah. And I think that applies to everything, not just people in work, but that's in relationships and friendships. You know, some people are shy and some people are smart, because I think the way, you know, the transition from teen years where you're cool if you're a great sportsman or you're a naughty kid or you're good with girls moves on, right? You know, it's like being good in a factory. These skills aren't the core skills to drive us anymore. So I think it doesn't matter what you're wearing, and people who are comfortable with themselves are just comfortable. They don't need to have wealth or no wrists or their neck or in their shoes to make them feel confident, which is, I think, what really it comes down to is that, you know, people feel if they walk in wearing a $20,000 watch on their arm, that people respect them more.
Let's step this up a little bit now. So you've left Barclays, six figures. Everyone will be happy with that for the rest of their life. Yeah, you've got that other business which is doing very, very well. And out of nowhere, you say that you're moving to Thailand. And you want whoever to come along with you. Yeah, always welcome. Now, tell me about that and how you managed to manipulate people to move with you as well, because I think that's brilliant as well.
That is actually a crazy story in my life. I was like, I want to do this with someone. I don't want to do this alone. I'm not good alone. Yeah. And so I started calling up people I know. I started with my best friends. Yeah. And funny enough, the only people that would probably come with me are people that weren't in a very good situation at the time, because it's like, hey, kind of, we've got nothing else to lose. I'm not doing anything now. Yeah. I'm like, listen, I'm serious. I'm leaving a well-paid job and I'm going to do this. But it's like, they're going, what are you going to do? I'm like, absolutely no idea, but we'll work something out. And where are you going to go to? I'm like, Thailand. And it's why? Because I loved it. Yeah. I went traveling now. I was like, this is an awesome place, right? Happy people, good weather, you know, and I can get a chance to reinvent myself. So I called a few people. They thought I was absolutely nuts. My parents thought I was nuts. I managed to convince one of my best friends, Alon, to take the journey with me. And he was like, I'm in. Yeah. And amazing. You know, I had to have his backing. And I knew I wasn't alone. And I called up another good friend, Paul, who's my business partner now, who told me that he can't come because he's got 1% of a $1 billion business, which was definitely not the case. It was probably 1% of a toothbrush. And in the end, he got fired from this 1% of a $1 billion company, which is still has no value. And in the end, just as about to move, he's like, I'll come, I'm on it. And it was a crazy thing because 3 people picked up possessions. He lived in Dubai, me and I lived in the UK, picked up all our possessions, and you know, I had nothing to sell. So, you know, Paul had to sell possessions. And it's like, we're doing this. And I remember going to my sister's wedding in Israel, and we're just about to move, and Mark, you was there.
Yeah.
And this was the last time we were going to see everyone before we made the move to Thailand. And we have no idea what we're about to get into. And the excitement, boy, people like, you've got to know what you've got to do before you leave. The excitement, and actually the working, it took us, listen, a full-time job to work out what you want to do. So I don't see how people can do it within a career. But the excitement when we decided we're going to leave, we're going to go, we're going to turn up in Bangkok, we're nowhere to live, and actually have a pop of building, a business of scale. Our aspirations were a lot lower then. We're like, you know, if you can make some good money, it'll be amazing, you know. So it was a crazy time, a crazy conversation. I spoke to a load of people, and I managed to convince 2 people in the most craziest thing I've ever come up with.
Yeah.
And they both they both came. And you know, I can't say that, you know, the part that now my journey is definitely, you know, down to these people, you know, believing in a unified journey to come together. So yeah, so that was kind of it.
Nice. So from what I remember, you picked up on an idea which was like multiple tickets for flight destinations. That was one. I think that was how it kind of got started. Yeah.
Yeah, so we turned up in Bangkok. We didn't know what to do, and it was like, okay, let's brainstorm. And I had a few business ideas. And just because I had a few business ideas, my two partners were like, "You're a genius."
Yeah.
Now listen, it was just ridiculous because we didn't know any better, right? Yeah. We didn't know what to do, and I think at that time, Alon, who's one of my business partners, came up with the idea to build a business model canvas. And he got this big board and started writing down ideas. This is what he's learned from his book. And I remember that same day, after him creating it, Paul smashed that over his head and put it straight through his head, through the middle of the canvas, and the whole article flipped out. And at this time, listen, we didn't know what we was doing. We thought that work hard, play hard was a real thing. Yeah. So we could go out all night till like 4 in the morning, wake up at 12, and think we were working. We actually thought we were working and building a business, like hungover every day. It's a learning curve. It's a life learning curve. And basically we was attempting to do businesses. We didn't have the knowledge, expertise, and we were trying different things from flight engines to dating sites, and we were finding ourselves, we were lost. We never had a mentor to go to or anyone. We didn't know anyone that had built their own business of success. All our friends and people we knew were people working for companies, and their idea was to make money, buy a property, rent it out, buy another property, rent it out, and one day you might have 3 properties. It's like, how do you build up a business, like, besides like a real estate kind of? So anyway, so we didn't know what we was doing and made even more mistakes than ever. And most of them was going out, getting drunk and thinking that we were building a business because we were all hyped. Yeah. We're so hyped talking about building a business that we didn't build it. It's like we were millionaires. Remember with the first day, we started high-fiving because we built a website that really I could just get someone to make for $20 now. And we're like, it's going to be $1 million high-fiving, we're hugging each other. And the time, what amazing times. You know what, when there's no pressure on your back like that, them times were the best times. Yeah. Because, they were exciting times, and naivety creates like you can enjoy things a lot more when you're naive to actually the realities of what it takes. Yeah.
So when did it, how did it come into it? Because from there, you ended up starting a prop tech company from that. So how did that come about? How did you fall into that?
Yeah, so I guess, so we was in Bangkok, and somehow we've turned up, and we didn't realize that we moved into the red light district of Bangkok. Now, a lot of my friends will be watching this who know me will be like, yeah, you did. But no, we actually didn't, right? And we found out that actually we're staying down somewhere called Soi Nana, which is the biggest red light district in the whole of Thailand, full stop. And it was just, it was interesting for the first few days. But, so we said, listen, we've got to get out of it. This is horrible. Because we just thought Thailand was this place, all of it. But Bangkok was this whole red light district. Turns out we haven't been within 1 mile of where we lived, but so we moved to Phuket because I've been there before, and we tried to find a place to live. And then the experience was so bad. It was like, you, my brother, I find you a house. And this is no racial connotation to the Thais, because they don't all talk like this. Yeah. I find you a house. And, and it's just like, we didn't know what was going on to find this villa. And like, she didn't even have the keys, and she's like jumping over the garden fence. And Paul's like, this market is rife for us to do something. And I remember we sat there that night, and we thought the way to start a business is to first come up with a name, which now I've realised years later that people still think this, but they're very much the misconceptions there. And I remember I was looking for the domain, Live Phuket. I remember Paul's like, that's the one. That's the one. Now listen, it could have been remotecontroller.com. It doesn't matter, right? No. But that was the start. I remember that night we built a website in WordPress, and we thought we had a business. That was the reality. We thought we had a business. We knew nothing about online businesses or anything like this. Yeah. No. And Yeah, so that was the start. That's how it was. It was a bad experience with finding a property. It led us to start, we're going to do vacation rentals. It was only vacation rentals.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's kind of how we started.
Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of people, doesn't it? Like you've had an experience and you've gone, we can do better than this. And then it sets you on that journey to actually go with it. And then it's evolved into so many different things. So yeah, amazing, amazing. You're all three very different types of people. Yeah, Alon, yourself, and Paul. And Paul, who I know is one of my best friends as well, I remember saying to him, like, you know, why do you want to do this? He's like, well, I want to be a business owner. I want to be able to make my own decisions. Yeah. And I said to him, I said, there's three of you. Yeah. What happens if two of them disagree with you? Like, what happens there? He's like, well, I don't, you know, it's like, he couldn't really give me an answer. And I said, well, you don't really have control over it either then. Yeah. And I remember that you guys would be banging your heads together trying to make these decisions. And then it snapped a little bit and you had to kind of take lead. With Paul listening to this, I hope he doesn't mind me saying it, but this is how I saw it.
No, he's okay because it's part of his journey as well. But we used to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being with my business partner, Alon, for anyone not watching yet, and he turning the aircon colder than I wanted it, and me turning it up and turning it colder. And that led to me throwing over a desk and saying, let's do this then, in the middle of an office, right? And other staff were like, what are they doing? It was very difficult because when you do business with friends, you have this preconception of that this is how you are as a friend, you know?
Yeah.
This is because I'm Michael, but to them I'm Kenna, and you don't have the same respect you get because when you start working with other people, you get respect from how well you work.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to get your head around at the start. And then, hey, we're best friends, but someone's got to be in charge. That's a very difficult thing, right? To kind of implement. When you say someone's in charge, people are like, I want to be CEO, I want to be CEO. It's not even fun being CEO. There's a lot of responsibility and stress with it. And actually, you're not like in charge. You're not running a dictator of a military regime.
No.
It's just your responsibilities for vision or strategic. And everyone has, it's just a role within the company. At the start, we didn't get this. It's like, I'm not working for Mike. Yeah. People didn't want to work for someone. I didn't want to work for them, right?
Exactly.
Young and naive, unfortunately, and a long way to learn. So we came to a point where we burnt through a lot of capital. I came there with quite a fair amount of capital. And a year later, I said to it, listen, we're 1 month away from throwing in the towel. Yeah. It was really, really bad. We've gone and lost so much money. And I thought I was smart. I thought, hey, I've just come out of one of the best investment banks in the country, or maybe even globally, right? I'm a smart dude. Turns out I'm not, right? Just gone and blown a few £100,000 on a business which Airbnb came in and absolutely owned us with, right? So we came very, very close. But what's important is that if I ever did this again, and we do it again now, is to have an established hierarchy of these are roles and responsibilities. And if it goes wrong, someone has to be accountable for it because this whole concept of shared accountability means that it's all about fault. That doesn't work. No. Yeah. It has to be someone owns each function. So yeah, listen, it was a great learning curve for all of us. And you know, we had a lot of arguments. Yeah. And we had a lot of good times and in the end we all grew from it. Yeah, regardless if someone's not within the company anymore, every single one of us grew into much better, not just business people, but people in general. The lessons are invaluable from doing that. Yeah.
I think with Paul personally, and I know this from speaking with you about this, like when he came over to Thailand, the idea was that he knew so many things. He knew so many things and you could call on him and he'd be like, yeah, I can do this, I can do this. And then you said to him, Paul, can you go and do this? And he's like, no, I can't do it. And he had all of these skills and it was like 10% of each thing. So to actually execute the whole thing, which was what you brought him in for, that was funny. But just like what he evolved to after that, which was like where he is now, which is such great experience and so knowledgeable on so many things and humble enough to want to learn as well now, which is a big difference. Yeah.
100%. And the Paul that turned up at the door was Mr. Know-all Paul, right? And it would be great if we actually knew what we actually knew the stuff we were saying we knew, but we actually didn't. The person Paul is now, 5 years after this journey, is the glue that keeps the whole company together. As in, I mean, the transformation is insane, and he's become the person he always could have been. Yeah. You know, at school, when everyone told him he was a smart individual, we all get lost. And being a smart individual doesn't mean, I've got the gift of the gab, I can do sales, I mean, all that nonsense. You know, actually really provide value to people's businesses and lives, and staff's lives, and outside of work, inside of work. And yeah, like when I reflect on this, I mean, yeah, the transformation he's gone through, all of us have gone through, but specifically him, is absolutely incredible, because if you go and lead any business now, and the humbling fact is he doesn't even want to lead the businesses, but behind the scenes he's pulling a lot of strings and is leading. Leading doesn't mean being the CEO. Yeah, there's many CEOs I know that definitely aren't leading. Yeah, so leadership is a skill and a quality that can exist in an employee. Yeah, all the way through. So leadership, don't get confused if you've got the top position, because there is no top position. No. But so the transformation from someone knowing very, very little, but believing, the biggest problem people have is thinking they know. Yeah. On this journey, I've realized that to actually say, I don't know, is the best thing. I think James actually brought on this in the last chat you had, that being humble in what you're good at and what you're not, and understanding that self-reflection of, hey, I'm not good at sales because I don't have the patience to deal with customers, right? And I'm not good at lots of things. But knowing this and understanding this, and then thinking you can do everything is a disaster waiting to happen. And these people, if you succeed, it's because you won the lottery. You know, that type of odds of succession. Yeah. So transformation is key.
I think it's really interesting because, like me, with starting this business up, you want to be able to solve everything and do everything yourself. And it's not so much about the how, it's about the who. And within your group, the three of you, which is now Brennan, yourself, and Paul, like, you're all very good at certain things, and that's what you roll with. And that's what I think is great. And you've been able to bring people into the business and partner with other friends in a way where you can kind of put your stamp on it, but then allow things to run and the business goes well. So I think that's really, really
interesting. And you know, it's interesting because people say you shouldn't do business with friends. Now, honestly, I don't know what idiot came up with that. Yeah, it's a stupid thing to say. It's like saying that the only rule of property is location, location, location. People just repeat stuff like parrots. Yeah. Don't know what it means. Oh, I'll never do business with friends because, listen, when you've got an amazing business, you become friends with everyone anyway. Yeah. So you've either got friends before business or business and then friends, right? If you're running a very good ship and a great culture, you are friendly with the staff. Like some of these people who I've met here, like my brothers now, right? I love doing business with friends. I've had multiple successive business with friends. I will continue to do business with friends. And I will put this stupid thing to bed that I'm only going to build businesses with friends now. I have to like you on a friends level to want to work with you. Yeah, and I genuinely believe this.
Okay, so what would you say? Because it's not all of your friends you can work with. So if you're looking to go a bit more vertical with a business, what do you look for?
Okay, so I think it's important I do business with people I trust. We're not building sweet shops, we're building $100 million companies, multiple of them, right? You know the ambitions. We're building unicorn groups here, right? This is not, they've got this idea and I've got a website. I need people I can trust to implement the vision, which is shared, right? That's the first thing. So trust is massive. So my very good friends,
trust implementing.
Trust amongst the fact that they don't want to let me down. Yeah, that I don't want to let them down. So it's not even the executional side. Okay. The other part is they've got to actually want it. Yeah, they've got to want it. And the only way you can want stuff really is to go through failure. Yeah. Yeah. Like just saying you want it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. It's showing you want it. People always say, yeah, I want to do this and that. I've got this, like this. Like, people who want it, they go about a different way. They'll be willing to do the business with or without you. Yeah. Doesn't matter if they get on this VC or they bring on this money or they bring on you as a business partner. They're doing it anyway. These are the people, that you want to go into business with. The relentless, will not give up. Yeah. So it's about finding the right people and at the right time, because I think all people go through these phases in life. Some people go through it later than others when they've got too many restrictions with family and kids, and they can't do this because they've already got commitments.
Yeah.
But everyone will go through this at some point where they think, I might want it, and whatever that want is, right? A want will be different from one individual to another. So, yes, you have to like who do it, you've got to choose the right people in the right time frames. Like, for example, some of the people I'm doing business with, obviously I think, James, for example, who's on your last podcast, we're about to set up a JV. He wasn't ready for this 2 years ago. Yeah. But he is now. Yeah. Because he's gone through a part in his business where he's realized that maybe scale isn't there for him, and that maybe he doesn't know, right? And a bit of humbling approach will allow you to be like, okay, I'm willing now to learn. So yes, it cannot be with any friends. You can't just be like, oh, who's my best mate? So this one, that one, let's do 3 businesses, right? That's a terrible idea, right? But if your friends know your journey better than anyone, you know my journey. My close friends know my journey, know what I've been through to get to where I am now. They've seen me go from zero, absolutely nothing, to now, companies of scale. So they believe in it more. Except for you've met someone who's got a great CV that doesn't understand the journey and is not bought in. I would rather hand hire the former over the latter any day of the week to build these businesses. You can hire in this talent of smart people that can do this and that. You can hire them in for a price, but commitment is very hard to get, and trust. You can't pay for that in any way, shape or form. In fact, paying for it, you'll get reverse. Yeah. If you can buy it, someone else can buy it, for a lot more money. So anyway, look, this is all a pinch of salt, Mark. It's just my perspective, but I do believe in what I'm saying, 100 hand on heart, right? This is what I repeat to people. So if you're going to work and do this journey, do it with people you care about, people you like, people you might even love, Okay, don't do it with a girlfriend. That's a bad idea, right? But do it with brothers or sisters that you really can relate to and share this journey with. Because one of the best parts of doing this is I get to share this with other people, and that makes me buzz. And what a feeling that is. It's better than any money feeling. It's that, we're doing this and we're doing this together. And, we can challenge that we weren't put on this planet just to do nothing, So,
I think it's interesting because could I work with, I worked with Fazwaz and we got on very, very well. Timing just wasn't right, which you're right about. Like, timing of where the company was going wasn't at speed with how I wanted things. But we finished, and I can call on you now and we can have a chat for hours on end in a great way, which is absolutely amazing, because we had that open relationship where we could speak about stuff. There was no lies, there was no BS. It was like, this is what I expect, this is what you expect. But at that time, it just didn't match up. But
right, and that's the most amazing thing about it, because you, with that situation, you called me up and said, "Listen, it's not working. We're paying you, a fairly good salary, and you did it because you didn't want to bullshit. You could have run that out for another year. You would have got paid, But you did it because, and that's the difference between friends and employees. Employees would drag it out. They probably wouldn't even leave, right? But you was like, listen, I don't think we're going to get to where, the vision is. And that's not good for me and for you. And let's be honest with each other. I think when you run companies of scale, obviously you can't all have your friends, but all the core management in my companies, they're not either friends from previous or they're friends of now. I'm very, very close to all the core management across the whole group. So I feel that, timing, roles is important, of course, vision, as long as you can get it right.
I think what's really interesting as well is that when you bring someone on to do this part of this,
Yeah.
That person wants this to grow, and he wants that to like get bigger and bigger and bigger. But your focus is kind of like this. So whereas like you're looking at the big picture, that person coming in is looking at this, and it's not getting the traction that it wants it to get because So, and there's
100%.
yeah.
And that's part of my biggest issue I have now. Biggest challenges is I've got multiple CEOs and multiple companies that we work within the group, and they all want stuff and feel like I'm favouring another company. But they feel I'm favouring company X, and company X feels I'm favouring company Y. It just goes round, but it's just like the vision is a group vision, and actually the majority of people will get shares in the group, and the successes are based on the individual companies in the group. So I don't want anyone to walk away from this experience that hasn't had benefit to their life, whether that's financial or learning. So I wouldn't do this. It's important that all my friendships and I'm ethical in the sense of that, not ethical in the business sense. I'm going to do everything by the book because I love to cheat in terms of, let's cheat Google, let's cheat this, let's cheat Amazon, let's cheat everything, right? But more in the sense of that, I've been fair and righteous by all the people who put their trust in me. Because when you go and work for someone, you're giving up a lot of your life for these people, right? And their visions. So it's important to make sure that I give back and make sure they achieve as well in their careers. And they look at this period and say, that's the best thing I've ever done. That would make me so happy. If I can get that, and everyone within my group says the best thing I ever did in terms of my career was work for these people or this group or this vision, I'm happy to that's it. I've achieved. Yeah. Nice. This is all I wanted in my career. So that's kind of it.
So if we look at people, because entrepreneur is like this massive buzzword at the moment. And I know from experience of phone calls with you, it's like, leave the corporate job, go and start your own business, go and be part of like the dream that you want to be. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But when these people are now going into this entrepreneurial world, and I'm putting you on the spot here now, but what is the one thing that you would give as advice for an entrepreneur right now?
Just the top piece of advice. I would just make this statement that it's not cool to be an entrepreneur. People just think that. The people who are, forget entrepreneur. Listen, I could make a website and sell these pens here and sell zero and call myself an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. The realities of being a business owner are difficult. It's challenging. It's not all upside. It's not about getting rich so people think this is like a cool thing because of the whole Zuckerberg. Everyone talks about the whole Facebook and, oh, I want to build $1 billion company. How about you just build a company that makes $1 first? Yeah. And then focus on the 2, then the 10, and the 50, right? So I'd say do it for the right reasons. Make sure the one piece of advice I'd give to anyone, do it for the right reasons only. Don't do it just because you think you're going to make loads of money. Because if you go into it like that, you are doomed to fail. Because that was me. And I failed for the first 5 years of the 7 years of being an entrepreneur. So, unless you've got that resilience. So do it, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and work out whether the reasons there are, write them down and make sure money isn't on that one. Yeah. Yeah. And if you can do that, then you're probably, Yeah,
I think like
I've got
Facebook. What's that?
Sorry? Say again. Sorry, I missed that last part.
No, I was saying like you brought up Facebook and I think it's so interesting. Like when you watch The Social Network, for example, and all that he wanted was to get more friends or to attract a girl, and then you look at the sort of level that Facebook has gone. God, we're live, people. We are live. God, that's 2 weeks in a row now. And you look at what level he's gone to. Like, there's no way that he thought that it would be WhatsApp he'd own and Instagram he'd own, all of these different things, when all we did was kind of want to create this network originally.
Sure, and a business is never what it ends up being. I mean, pivoting and, you know, like Facebook, for example, is a multitude of companies. People think Facebook is just Facebook. Facebook Inc. owns about, I think, 500 different companies. I don't know the exact number. And, you know, Instagram and WhatsApp, and there's hundreds others, right? Hundreds. So, you know, listen, there are people that go into it for being rich, and I'm sure some people succeed. If you take the big companies, the monster companies and the visionaries, right? The ones who evolve products, the one who innovate, right? Not just like, listen, now in today's world, $1 million isn't what $1 million used to be. So it's not that difficult to do that kind of scale business. But to create something amazing, it can't be for financial reasons, because you'll never give the consumer what they want. Most things is, whether the consumer being a business or an individual, if you want to build something amazing, you've got to build something amazing and not focus on trying to extract value or money, from whoever your customer is. You've got to just build something amazing. That's why Facebook didn't make any revenue for a long time, and they built an amazing product, right? Hands up to them. And there's many other companies like Instagram. But again, now you've left this cool kind of aspect is companies should lose money. Yeah. Which, you know, with the whole WeWork and everything else, it's been exposed that, hey, and especially COVID-19, you know, that's not cool either. The companies should lose money and focus on just acquisition of customers or top line revenue without any profit. So everything changes. This is the reality. Everything changes as time changes. Yeah, don't get stuck.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of leading into kind of how vertical you've gone now with the different businesses, and how you've kind of, like you said, been able to pivot into different things. But one thing I was listening to a couple of days ago, like this company which was making these massive strides in doing different things, and they had this one business and then it went into different businesses, but nothing ever worked as well as that first one. And it was really interesting what he said. Like what they did, what they realized a few years later was like they didn't leave anyone behind. So they'd have the business, they go into another one, and they keep on going and going and going, but nobody was ever left to actually look after that one business. So how could it? I mean, and I think that's, for me, like after hearing that, I thought that was so smart. And is that something that you've experienced with the businesses?
Yeah, massively. I mean, we set up initially about 5 separate companies, and say one of them was this company called JobSeek Group, which had job portals in Southeast Asia and went from 0 to millions of users in 3 months. We had tens of thousands of applications a day, but guess what? No one was running it. We didn't have any resources. No one cared about the product. It was just one of our products. And where is it now? Exactly the same situation it was. What I've realized is behind every great business is a great leader. Whether that leader is a CEO, an employed CEO, or an employee, there is a leader behind every business who cares. And to make businesses work, there has to be someone who cares. All the businesses that are working, which are a good few, and you know, even in the UK with the businesses, people care massively about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Someone has to care to drive it. You need drivers. Yeah. And the same as a football team needs a captain. Yeah. There has to be someone driving this, or, you know, and it's got captain and a manager, right? But yeah, you need maybe one or multiple people driving these businesses. Otherwise, they won't get anywhere. And that's why people who set up businesses on the side, they'll never succeed to the scale as if you left your job.
No.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's all about time in, product out. Right? That's all it comes down to. The more you care, the more you'll succeed.
Right. I'm going to ask this last question. I'm not sure if you're actually going to answer it or not, because you might be giving away what is called the magic sauce. Yeah. So everything you've done so far, where you've gone vertical, you've literally been able to plug and play kind of what you've done in the previous business. And I don't really know if you can speak about it or not, but what is that thing that you do which seems to work at the moment and really kind of gets you the traffic that you want and the success you want?
Yeah, I mean, if I gave you an analogy of like a good midfielder can play for any team and maybe do multiple different types of sports, could be good at, because it's the same routine of getting up and, you know, training and exercising. And, you know, for us, we have a formula. Now, listen, I'm actually happy to actually speak to people that actually want to know it, but they've actually got to want to know it, not just call me up and be like, hey, we've got a form of how to succeed, and it involves with some good planning, good analysis of the markets. We've got very much a search-based strategy. We think that if you work out how to be great on Google, Amazon, or Facebook, or even now TikTok, or any of the big platforms out there, if you can work out how to be the best on these platforms, you've got a very good chance of succeeding, because they've already done it for you. They've allowed you to reach millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
For us, it's Google, right? We love search. We love giving people what they're looking for. But this isn't the one part that works. It's a multitude of things. It's experience. So for anyone out there that is looking to get into, it depends. You know, I'm talking about my part of entrepreneurship, which is marketplaces, and it's a ticket size, like 10 million to 100 or $1 billion companies, right? Find someone who's done this. Don't think that you can do this without knowing what the mistakes are. So if, you know, it's just like hitting a ball with a golf club. You've done it 100 times, you've probably hit it another 100 times, right? Muscle memory, and it's brain memory. You learn from the mistakes, you repeat it. So we've made so many mistakes out there on the most stupidest things that people think are actually smart things when they set up a business, that we know what not to do. So basically we can fast track any business and learn from all the mistakes that fails, whereas build another one which doesn't have any of them mistakes in, then only to make 20 new mistakes.
Yeah.
And then learn from their mistakes and try another one. So there isn't one thing, Mark. It's basically be dedicated, care. Yeah. Don't be half in. There's loads of people tell me they're doing this, and then it's like, did you do it? You know, there's excuses, right? You know the people's going to see. We can spot them now after doing this. It's the people who relentlessly carry on no matter what's happening. Yeah. Like COVID-19. Some people are home with their families. Some people are grinding it. Yeah. Grinding it, building great products, right? These are the people that we succeed. The people who put all the time in and will not stop until they hit their mission. So there's no secret sauce. I wish there was. I really do wish there was, because then I could just apply the sauce to all different companies and I'm winning, right? But from my experience, if anyone's got some secret sauce out there, please give me some, right? I definitely need some. Yeah.
But you're also happy for people to reach out to you and you can answer some questions as well, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, in the right strategy. So I've got a lot of people that call me up, and I've stopped it now, and I don't ignore it, where it's like, oh, I've got this idea. I'm like, I want a deck. What I realized is the reason why VCs are so structured is because they've got so many idiots calling them up with ideas that made up 10 seconds ago. And it's like, I think it's the next. Listen, there is no next Facebook, right? Facebook wasn't built in one day. It's taken, I don't know how old it is, maybe 20 years now, right? Yeah, probably a bit less.
Years, probably, yeah.
Yes, right? There's no miraculous idea, right? I believe it's 0.1% idea, 99.99999 execution.
Yeah.
Because you can make pens work if you wanted to, or controllers, or some USB plugs, right? You could build a great business around these things, right? Because it's all about executing. You don't need to turn this plug into a flying plug to make it work.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the idea. Make sure your plan is structured. Come up with something called a deck, you know, and a structured deck that you'd be willing to take to a VC to raise money. You wouldn't feel like an idiot, like you're winging it.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I'll be willing to talk to you, but don't call me out with an idea, because I've got zero interest. And that's because I don't have the time. If I give you my time, it's a zero-sum game. Yeah. If I give you my time, I have less time. Yeah. So I'm happy to give the right people the right time. And that's basically the right way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting at the moment because people think that like there's so much time to do stuff now during this COVID-19, whatever that people want to call it. And like me personally, and not doing so much business, but I'm saying I'm busier than ever, like growing myself and growing my learning. And like, I'm never not busy at the moment. And this is one of the worst times in the world, supposedly.
But you've got to make sure that people are busy doing the right things. It's like, I mean, look, I know from James' experience with reading books. I don't get my benefit from books. It's more experience. I have to do it to learn it. Yeah. You can hear how much it hurts to get hit in the face by a boxer, but until you actually get hit in the face, you're not going to know what it feels like. Yeah? Or learn a lesson. So studying is one thing, doing is another. And the other point is, there's a lot of people get on these videos, and there's a lot of data to consume out there. Yeah. People watch these motivational videos, get really pumped up, and then go and lay down afterwards because they spend all their time endorphins releasing. So you know, the main thing is in these periods, go and do it. Don't talk, go and do it, get on with it. And just focus. Don't consume too much information, because once you know how the digital internet works and how information is distributed, you realize that half the stuff you're reading is absolute nonsense, right? Because people know how to make it rank, like us. Yeah. So make sure the people out there that want to do this, go and actually get it done during this period. You know, like you're going out, you're actually doing it. You could be talking about it.
That's it. Right? Like, when would I have done a podcast like this before, you know, or I did a video a couple of weeks ago. I never would have put that out like that. But the only way I'm going to get better is by failing my way to getting better. Yeah.
Right. And the biggest transformation I've seen, you know, yourself go through is the fact that you stop caring what other people think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not coming into the equation anymore, you know, that what other people think about this, and, you know, it's more that I want to do this. As soon as you can get to that point, you are going to run, right? And, you know, and I also feel generally, it's one of the phrases I've used in an email to raise money recently, that if you feel like things are going, you know, so smoothly, you're not running fast enough. No. You've got to be running so fast, you feel like you're falling over. You know, when you run down a hill and you're like, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall, right? Yeah. If you don't get to that, you'll never hit your limit. You've got to feel like you're falling. Yeah. And then even if you fall, you will learn a lesson. So move fast, man. Like,
make the mistakes quick and just move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Fail quickly. I love that statement. Fail quickly. People are like, I don't want to fail at all. If you don't want to fail at all, don't bother doing it, because every day we fail and every day we learn. And you know, the story will be interesting where we end up in 5 years. You know, I could be broke with nothing, and I'm okay with that, to be honest. Like, generally, I'm okay with that. Like, I'll be very happy. Not I won't be happy being broke, but I'll be happy that I've done everything I can within this period of time to make the best out of the situation we're put on this planet for. I've gone all in. How about everyone else goes all in, you know, and commit and do it right? Yeah. So that's kind of my views.
Amazing. I'd say there's probably about 20 absolute gems there. So I hope everyone has listened to it properly. Thank you so much for your time, Kenna. I love it. Brilliant, man. Cool. And I'll catch up with you soon. Okay.
Yeah, lots of love, man. I'm looking forward to the next ones and whoever you've got on next. So stay tuned. Mark Square.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Take
Thank
care,
you very
man.
much, Mark. Cheers, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.